Well. Ladies and gentlemen, things are heating up. Lots of discussions to be had, some uncomfortable ones as well. Chelsea transfer bonanza. Let's get on with it.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get on with this. Tuchel wants new forwards and is monitoring Raheem Sterling. Other targets include Ousmane Dembele, Darwin Nunez, Nkunku and Jonathan David from Lille. A little bit about each of them, first of all, before we talk about the necessity of getting new forwards. Raheem Sterling, tick mark. I can absolutely endorse that. He's a good, winger. Premier League proven undoubtedly in terms of wealth of experience, in terms of winning big titles. He's definitely ticks all of those boxes. 27-year-old, so it's perfect age, mature. Definitely better than anything that we've got at the moment. Ousmane Dembele is my number one choice. He's the one for me will really transcend us. He's the one that I would love to have in the football club in terms of creative winger, fast, 1v1, left foot, right foot, the lot. He's the one that would be the number one sort of marquee signing for me. Whether we can do a deal with Barcelona, I'm not sure. He's really stalling with Barcelona, so there could be an opportunity there. Could be a lot of money that he may ask. Whether we do insane wages, and I'll talk a little bit about wages because we are stuck in the mud with Timo Werner, and we'll get to the news on that. Whether we do high wages again in that caliber, I don't know. This guy probably deserves it, Ousmane Dembele, but we have to hit a sweet spot. Darwin Nunez, look, there's a lot of hype about this particular player. He's been doing well in recent times. But literally 6 months ago, I had Adrian from Rabona TV, if you guys remember, and he was saying about Darwin Nunez that he can be wasteful. Obviously, now 6 months later, things look a bit better. But I remember Adrian telling me and the channel that there's still a lot more improvement that Darwin Nunez requires. Is Darwin Nunez going through a bit of a purple patch in the last probably 3-4 months during the Champions League period? Because his season overall in Benfica hasn't been the kind of season that he's shown in the last 3 months. So, look, he's definitely an exciting prospect, but I just don't know if that's the level of striker that I want in our football club. So that's my opinion. I'm not entirely sold by Darwin Nunez, but you let me know how you feel about that. Nkunku is a particular player that I've not watched Red Bull Leipzig, but literally everyone out there that I know is speaking very, very highly of him. Yes, there's that Bundesliga tax as well that I'm so worried about, but a lot of people are actually saying no, he's far more technical than Timo Werner, so far more creative as well. So there's that. And Jonathan David, I've seen Lille, and especially in the Champions League, playing against us in the second round. Jonathan David is a decent player, but once again, Chelsea caliber, is that the caliber that we want? I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion. Moving on to the next topic. And yeah, in regards to wanting new forwards, 100%. Do we hold on to what we have right now and hope that they're going to do well next season? I think that would be foolish. Some players need to go. And some players probably need to be loaned. We'll talk a lot about that very soon in the upcoming news. So there is definitely a requirement to get new forwards to freshen things up and getting forwards that really suit Thomas Tuchel's style. Borussia Dortmund have gone cold over Timo Werner due to cost. Now, here's the thing: we've been talking about the necessity to get new forwards. He's a particular player that needs to leave this football club undoubtedly, but now we're in the mud. We're in the mud. There was interest from Borussia Dortmund for a while now. There was interest from Bayern Munich as well. There's basically interest from Germany, but most specifically Dortmund and Bayern Munich. But now the sticking point is his wages. Borussia Dortmund have, they've done a bit of a madness in this window already. And the crazy part is the window hasn't even started, and they've already signed up 5 players. They're just waiting for the window to open so they can absolutely officially go out there and register those players, I suppose. But they've got Ademe from I think the other Salzburg, Red Bull Salzburg team. They've got a few other players. Whether they have enough to then bring in Timo Werner, I know they sold Erling Haaland, so they would have had some money there. Recently, they've sold some big superstars as well, Sancho money. Timo Werner, 272k with Chelsea Football Club. That's not the level of business that Dortmund does. There's no way he's going to be going back to Dortmund and getting that level of money. So now the question begs, does he think about his future? Does he think about, getting more game time? And does it come down to him being humble and just saying to himself that, do you know what, I'll take a pay cut because there's no way he's going to get that level of money. Now, is he the kind of character that is okay to sit at Chelsea Football Club and not get enough game time and really jeopardize his sort of position in national team with the World Cup coming up as well? So there has to be some give. But we as well are in the mud because we've given him that level of, income, that level of wages. No way he gets that unless maybe in Bayern Munich. If Lewandowski leaves, Nagelsmann is a particular manager that likes Timo Werner, has worked with Timo Werner in Leipzig. Does he bring him to Bayern Munich? He would still probably have to take some sort of a pay cut. And this is something Timo Werner will have to look into. And looking at some of these comments, especially this one from PYS Marina, there's a piece from Liam Toomey in recent times, probably in the last 12 hours, how he's sort of defending Marina and how Chelsea fans are apparently don't understand what Marina does. She's not the one who goes out there and scouts. We get that. She's obviously not the one that looking at players and then goes in the reality and picks players. But she does the finances. But even the finances for certain players at Chelsea Football Club have been mad. Timo Werner being one. Hudson-Odoi, 120,000 something odd per week salary. I mean, these things are ridiculous. And there's been many other players. Drinkwater, the level of salary he's getting, and so on and so forth. So it's not like she's done some mad, some really, really good finance deals. There's been some really good ones as well. Eden Hazard, Alvaro Morata, the ones we've sold, we've made some money, but there's been some absolute disasters as well, like this one. Timo Werner, yes, there was a lot of hype when we got him, but 272k? I don't really understand that. Breaking, Jules Kounde's agent and Chelsea in contact. The price being worked out is 51 million plus variables. The operation may accelerate in the coming weeks. Look, I tweeted out yesterday once, the whole sale, the Chelsea takeover situation has been completed. I tweeted out, Chelsea, go out there and just announce Jules Kounde immediately. Like, I want Jules Kounde to be announced in the next 48 hours because this is one player we shouldn't be dilly-dallying anymore. Like, we've seen enough. We should have enough scouting report on him. We've been linked with him for God knows how long now. It's just let's get on the business, strike a deal with Sevilla, find the middle ground, and let's get it done and dusted. This is a player now, if we backtrack away from it, we need CBs. He's up for grabs. Let's try and cover it. He would be a fantastic addition in the RCB role if we continue with three at the back. And overall, he's a very good player. Now, obviously, there will be a time of adaptation in the Premier League, but he's a well sorted out defender at the moment in world football. There's a lot of teams out there that are monitoring him, one being Real Madrid as well. So we should be trying to finalize this. 51 million plus variables. In this day and age, I'm telling you right now, that's probably the decent amount of money that you have to pay a quality CB. You're not going to get anything less than about 50 million anyway, if you want a quality defender. So for me, let's get this done and let's announce it very soon. Romelu Lukaku's representatives want immediate talks with Todd Boehly. Lukaku is determined to make it work at Chelsea. Now, I've said it in recent times. Here's another situation where a forward, we're in the mud. He's earning one of the top incomes at Chelsea Football Club. I think he might be the top one. Maybe N'Golo Kante is higher than him. But he's somewhere around 300,000 a week. His stocks are extremely low. This season, a lot of it has been due to him. But I've always said, if it's, let's say, 75% him, 25% is still our fault as well. We've not really realized where his strengths are. We've not really utilized him in terms of passing it quicker to him, to release him and have him sort of going towards the defenders and towards the goalkeeper. So we've missed the trick as well. But at the same time, I think 75% is his fault. One being the infamous interview, the other one being his attitude and his effort since that interview materialized hasn't been the greatest. So look, he wants to hold talks. Great. if he's, and I've said it, I don't mind if he stays next season, but he needs to be so clear in his head that he wants to do well for Chelsea Football Club. He cannot be like, do you know what, I've got no other option. Because right now, who is out there that is going to buy Romelu Lukaku? You tell me right now. PSG are out of the situation. They're keeping Kylian Mbappe, so forget about PSG. Real Madrid, they've missed out on Erling Haaland. They've missed out on Mbappe, so they're in the mud. Are they going to look at a player like Lukaku? I don't think so. I mean, they do play a counter-attacking style of football, I suppose, but they've got Benzema absolutely buzzing over there, and I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. I know he's 34, but he's probably getting better and better. Probably going to get another couple of more seasons. Lukaku is going to be a bencher over there. So is that worth it? Probably not. Who else is out there? Bayern Munich. If Lewandowski leaves, which looks like Lewandowski wants to leave, he could possibly go there. Then what happens with Timo Werner? So look, I'm not going to be surprised if he sticks around, if he sticks around next season. But if he is sticking around and if he wants to do well, he has to be fully committed to Chelsea Football Club from the heart, from the mind, and really work hard for Chelsea. And similarly, I think Thomas Tuchel, if we're not getting a new striker, has to sit down with him this summer and really work out how we can utilize him properly, because we've made a lot of investment. There's a lot of money that's been thrown around for Romelu Lukaku. Christian Pulisic is unhappy with the amount of opportunities Tuchel has given him, and Hudson-Odoi has failed to impress Tuchel, but few clubs would be able to meet Hudson-Odoi's personal terms. Now, this, once again, as I said, another interesting sort of point of view in terms of our forwards. Christian Pulisic. We'll start from there and we'll talk about Hudson-Odoi. I've got a bit of a truth bomb for Hudson-Odoi. I should probably do a separate video on that. A few other youngsters, in terms of Broha and Conor Gallagher and Ampadu and Billy Gilmore. Not maybe that's for a separate video. But today we'll talk a little bit about Hudson-Odoi. But first of all, Christian Pulisic. I think he's set to leave. I think this guy is literally now at a point where he's played 3 seasons at Chelsea and he's not really been entirely happy over these 3 years. He's seen Frank Lampard, he's seen Thomas Tuchel, and both of them seriously have not always relied on him. Yes, Frank Lampard post-lockdown did rely on him, but prior to that, he found it very difficult. Christian Pulisic, Thomas Tuchel, bits and pieces, using Christian Pulisic here and there, not really, giving him up, like secure, making sure he secures a position. But that's up to Christian Pulisic as well. He's not really gone out there, cemented a position, and at the same time, Thomas Tuchel has not always felt 100% with Christian Pulisic. He's shown his quality. I've always maintained he's got the talent, but there's something missing. There's something missing, that star X factor sort of end product that we require at Chelsea Football Club. We've seen the amount of misses, but yeah, we've also seen it in snippets that he's got that talent, that raw talent has always been there. But 3 seasons, I've also maintained with Christian Pulisic. If he wants to stick around for another season, he's got 2 more seasons left. We're in a bit of a limbo. What do? Do we sell him? Perfect time to sell him because we can get some money. But if we keep him, no problems. But then he'll only have 1 more season left. So we do risk that situation of losing him for free. I'm okay to seeing him for 1 more season. But is this brother going to change? Is he actually going to become ruthless next season? Thomas Tuchel keeps talking about his focus. So that's Christian Pulisic. I feel like he's probably looking to leave. Once again, how many clubs out there? He's probably going to have to humble himself and look down as to who's going to take him. He ain't going to any other Premier League clubs in terms of City and Liverpool. He's going to have to humble himself, or else he has to go elsewhere. Where PSG? I don't think so. Bayern Munich? Maybe with Napoli. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe it could be Bayern Munich. Does he go back to German Bundesliga again? I'm not really sure. I just in Spain, who could he play for in Spain? Real Madrid? He ain't going to Real Madrid. Barcelona is in the mud with financial situation. Atletico Madrid, he just doesn't come across. Diego Simeone will eat up a player like Christian Pulisic if he misses and those sort of opportunities. So where does Christian Pulisic go? You tell me, ladies and gentlemen. Hudson-Odoi. He's a little bit of a truth bomb. Look, I have to admit, there were times this season where I thought, wow, okay, Hudson-Odoi, that's pretty good. But then there's been many a times in the season where I was like, oh my God, this guy's not good enough. This is simply not good enough. 1v1, can't take his man on. Sometimes his decision-making, not the greatest. Can't shoot. So many chances he's scuffed in front of the goals. We talk about players missing opportunities. Oh my God, we've forgotten how many times Hudson-Odoi has missed opportunities as well. And now this injury, Achilles injury, is now becoming a bit of a bothersome situation. He had it as a major injury not that long ago, and now this one, he's almost missed about what, two months minimum, 2 to 3 months. I haven't seen Hudson-Odoi for a good part in the final stages. And I remember when going into Club World Cup, players were reluctant to pass it to him because they don't feel comfortable that he's going to be able to take his man on, and they're always reluctant in that wing area. One thing I'll give to Hudson-Odoi, he is creative. There are times where he can be creative. He puts in some really decent crosses where, Romelu Lukaku has got at the end of it, a few others as well. But overall, I think this guy, I know exactly what I want. I want him to go on a loan. I wouldn't look at selling. I want him to go on a loan, really impress, forget about all the pressures of being at Chelsea Football Club, and do your thing. Do your thing, my man. Develop, unleash yourself. Everyone talks about him like he's the star boy. He's the big deal at Chelsea Football Club, one of the biggest talent coming from Cobham, the Chelsea Academy. It's time he needs to show that, because everyone else around him is leaving him. All the youngsters around him are absolutely leaving him. So loan deal for him, perfect for me. If Lukaku leaves, Darwin Nunez and Nkunku interest Chelsea, there's no rush from either side to sell Lukaku. There's hope he could improve with a full pre-season. As I said, I've got no issues in keeping Lukaku, and if he can mentally set himself to do well, and if Thomas Tuchel backs that, he's the one player that is probably in our team. I can't see anyone else that can score more than 20 goals in a season. And if we are going to be somewhat competing against Liverpool and City, you need a particular striker that's going to bang in 20 goals plus. And right now, Romelu Lukaku is the only one that has that credential. So I completely understand. Manchester City have identified Reece James as Kyle Walker's long-term replacement. His contract renewal is a priority. This, ladies and gentlemen, once Todd Boehly he's already in. The conversation's already happening with many players coming in, going out and whatnot. I hope they're having this conversation with this particular player. Reece James, for me, is our biggest asset. His, for me, is our biggest talent from Cobham at the moment. Yes, I was a bit skeptical in his first season under Frank Lampard. He still he looked great. He looked, the raw talent was there, but there were times where he looked a little bit lethargic. He fine-tuned that last season, and this season he's taken it to the next level. Assists, goals, defensively strong. He's everything that you can ask for. When you look at Trent Alexander-Arnold in terms of creativity, Reece has that, probably just a tad lower, but he can develop into that Trent, because Trent Alexander-Arnold is a proper playmaker. Reece James, he's definitely a playmaker, but it's probably out to have him a little bit less sort of weight at the moment than Trent Alexander-Arnold. However, in terms of being balanced, Reece James is a far greater defender than Trent Alexander-Arnold. So when you look at the overall balance, Reece is, for me, is a far more complete player than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And this season, they've both had similar goal contribution, 14. And Reece James has played 1,000 minutes less. So that's the crazy part. For me, this guy is our biggest player. We need to ensure we give him a glamorous contract. I swear to you right now. I know Mason Mount in recent times has talked that he's going to get double his money. We probably need to look at doubling this brother's money as well, because this guy, and I've got every belief he's probably going to be a captain for Chelsea Football Club down the track as well. He's going to be a leader, and that right side, man. If we continue with the wing back formation, even if we continue with the right back, I don't mind. We're going to see a lot of electric situation from there. So let's get this done. Whatever he wants. Todd Boehly will be the face of Chelsea's new era, much like his predecessor. The American is viewed as a pioneer in sports ownership. In layman's term, he isn't afraid to spend heavily, which is great news. And he's going to have to. He's going to have to spend, but at the same time, I get the feeling he will spend it in in a very smart manner. We can't just be throwing money out there. We should be spending it in a smart manner. Let's have a look at some of the latest over here. There's a lot from Simon Phillips. He's talking about Wesley Fofana. The Daily Mail name Wesley Fofana, Jules Kounde, Pau Torres, Josko Vardiol as Chelsea centre-back targets, which is fantastic. What else do we have here? We've got Ivan Perisic confirmed. Chelsea interest in Ivan Perisic has now been confirmed. Well, it's been confirmed for a little while. The Times named Declan Rice, Jules Kounde, and Josko Vardiol as Thomas Tuchel's 3 main summer targets. I mean, are we going to spend 120 million on Declan Rice? It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Covering takeover finally done, summer transfer plans, latest transfer rumors, the rough ride of past months, a 200 million scenario, war chest is back. Gilmore Gallagher rise debate plus more. This is from Simon Phillips. We'll talk about that midfield situation in another video. I think we do need to delve onto that. Conor Gallagher, Ampadu, Billy Gilmore. Might have to throw in even some striker situation with Amanda Broha. And obviously we touched on Hudson-Odoi. So the youngsters basically. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps us up for this particular segment. Hope you've enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you have. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content, and make sure you comment on every single one of these little topics that we've talked about. Very important. I want to see what you guys feel. And if you really want to interact, as I said, there's a whole heap of comments that come on a regular basis. There is a button called thanks. It's a donation, works much like super chats. I assure you, if you do that, you'll definitely get a response back from me. I want to make sure, just like super chats, I reply back to all of that. Besides that, there's so many comments flying through. It's very difficult to reply to every single one of them. So if you want to use that thanks button, please make sure you do that, and I'll definitely interact with you. Until next time, see ya.